Hello, how you doing? This is George with Truck Driver Nation. What this is, we're offering a free freight dispatcher training. What we need is we need one employee. When I say employee, you're actually an independent contractor, but we're looking to hire somebody directly with us, and obviously we're hiring immediately. So we're looking to bring on aboard one new independent freight dispatcher to work directly with Truck Driver Nation. Right now, we're accepting applications and resumes. So if you're interested, please do not delay. Get them in. We're going through them, and it's not no particular cutoff date. It's literally when I see the one that catches my attention, that's going to be the winner. And there's no particular parameters because everybody's going to have to go through training because I need to know you understand what you're doing in order for us to obviously get you trained up. The course is self-paced. That means I only answer questions according to what you're actually needing to know that you can't figure out based on the classroom videos. They're actually instructional videos that was me in class instructing students. And because the way we do courses, basically we go through the program of the course on that given chapter. Once we get done, then I take questions, and obviously I give answers. But definitely get your stuff in so you have an opportunity. But this is a presentation where we're going over this. That way you can understand what you're stepping into if you want to come aboard with us and work with us as a team member. Okay, so welcome to Truck Driver Nation, your path to becoming a freight dispatcher. The way it turned out, you know, I don't want this to be a presentation that, in this sense, but this was already set up, so this is what I'm using. I need you to come to work. If you've got the experience and you want to get on board, then please let me know, but let's go over this real quick so that way you know if this is a good opportunity for you to move forward as far as dealing with us in this aspect. Obviously, everybody else, if you're not picked, if you do want to attend the dispatch training program, then obviously, it's a course that we provide. So obviously all the other rules, this is the only thing, this is self-contained in itself. This does not go toward any of the other stuff inside this program. This is an independent offer for someone that wants to be employed directly with us. So again, hello and welcome. Introducing myself, I think maybe for the third time it feels like, but I'm George, the founder of Truck Driver Nation. And I'm excited to offer you this unique opportunity to become a freight dispatcher with us. But this isn't just any job offer. I'm offering you a completely free training program that will help you build the skills necessary to succeed as a professional dispatcher in the trucking industry. Here's what you need to know about this opportunity, how it works, and what I expect from you as a potential team member of Truck Driver Nation. So these are the eligibility requirements. If I add anything to this, just have to go with the flow. I'll add it to the contracts and everything. But for one, to qualify for the free training program, the employee must meet the following criteria. Understand you're not an employee in the sense that you're on my payroll. You are an independent freight dispatcher that is agreeing that you would absolutely like to work with us, and that's the whole principle. I don't have a million slots. I have one slot. Literally, that's what I have. Minimum qualifications. You must have at least 5 years of over-the-road truck driving experience. That's my preference because I have 24 years over the road and I love working with fellow truck drivers. You must be a United States citizen or a legal resident with a valid documentation. You absolutely 100% must be fluent in English. If you can understand everything that I'm saying, that I'm looking for you. And also, in addition, you got to be able to talk crap to me just like I'm talking to you, right? So, because we're dealing with truck drivers. And a lot of them don't like dealing with foreigners just because they're Americans, okay? I wouldn't take it personal, nothing like that. It's the same way when I go to other countries. A lot of people can't even deal with me. They have no idea what I'm saying. They literally tell me that their nose is bleeding, okay? So understand that you must be fluent in English. You must have access to a computer, high-speed internet, and noise-canceling headset. There will be some obviously other different software that you'll be utilizing, but that'll come as you actually proceed into the physically dispatching your day-to-day routine. Required documentation. Before starting the training, employee must submit the following documents. I need to know who you are because I'm letting you inside my personal, inside Truck Driver Nation. You're going to have access to a lot of sensitive material. So you need your driver's license, your social security card. If you have an EIN, then you can use that because remember you're an independent agent with Truck Driver Nation. I need a full employment history. I would like the resume and I would like the application. In fact, they're required. Proof of U.S. citizenship or legal residency. Obviously, if you got your driver's license and everything, then that obviously proves that. Availability to work. Before starting the training, an independent agent must be available for the following. You must be able to come off the semi-truck immediately upon completing the course, because I have trained truck drivers while they're on the road. There is a limitation. Once you complete it, if we're not given weeks, you have to be off that truck. Okay? I don't need somebody that's trying to play dispatcher and be on that truck. It will not work. Available to begin working immediately upon course completion. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I don't care if you're working at Domino's and you were a truck driver and you have that prerequisite of the 5 years of over-the-road experience. I need you to shut down everything you're doing and you be 100% and you're 100% focused on this. Must be able to work the designated hours and accept inbound calls during regular business hours. The reason I'm saying inbound, because if you don't have outbound calls, then you're going to lose your drivers, okay? The inbound calls is because if you have drivers or something to do with Truck Driver Nation and we need to call you. I had one individual that didn't want to answer the phone, and it was a critical point when a driver was broke down on the side of the road, freezing his ass off up in North Dakota, and his wife was literally on the phone trying to get me to assist him, but it wasn't my driver. I didn't know all the data because the dispatcher had, because once you get your drivers, those are the people that you're working with. We know the accounts because everything comes through, whether it's going through their factoring or our factoring, depends on how it works out. Then, that's how we pay the payroll. But because everything's attached to Truck Driver Nation, you're not going to have individual contracts being an independent agent with us. Everything goes through Truck Driver Nation. All the contracts have Truck Driver Nation all over them. They are working with Truck Driver Nation, but those guys are your responsibility to maintain, to follow their needs. If you have a problem at any point with any of this, after you get trained, we're there to help you. You're working with us. We're co-workers. We're the same team. Must not deal with clients while under the influence of any substances. We're talking about beer, weed. That's the main two. If you're on cocaine or crystal meth, I wouldn't come here because it's going to really cause you problems. I mean, that's just one that's unfunctional. But weed, I completely condone, and so do I do alcohol. That's your choice of drug, right? If you're on medications and you're missing, if I can't understand what you're trying to tell me in a consistent and coherent way, then we got a definite problem. It's not that you're not just affecting yourself, but you're affecting men and women that have some really seriously expensive equipment, and they're dependent on you to help keep their families fed. Must be able to accept calls after hours if required by their designated drivers to assist them when the issue arises. Now, whether they ended up getting a hold of me, and I got to call you to get it handled because that's your people. Make sure you're always available on your phones. Normal hours is usually 7:30, which they are 7:30 to 5:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time to 5:30 Central Time. By that time, all the brokers have gone home, all the dispatchers have gone home. There's nothing to do unless there's something going on with your freight. Okay, minimum qualifications. So in addition to the previous mentioned criteria, candidates must meet the following additional qualifications. Professionalism. You must demonstrate a professional attitude, work ethics, and communication skill in all interactions with clients, drivers, and other team members. Problem-solving skills. You must be able to handle and resolve issues quickly and effectively, particularly in high-pressure situations involving drivers or shipments. Usually, they're not going to be medical emergencies, right? But you got to be able to have problem-solving skills. If you got a problem, you can't get it solved, that's the reason you're part of a team. Let us know, because remember, you're going to be working from home. Detail-oriented. Oh my goodness. Detail-oriented. Ability to manage complex scheduling, paperwork, and logistics without error, because it could affect overall factoring to get that money in, because that driver needs that money to keep paying for that fuel. And you, as at least a 5-year veteran, right, plus that you understand what this is all about. So some of this, I'm telling you it, but you should already know because you've been out there in the trucks just like we all have. Tech savvy, now you got to be capable of, you got to be comfortable with using software tools for dispatching, tracking loads, and managing client accounts. Experience with transportation or logistic management software is a plus. We're going to teach you this, right? But the thing is, there's a learning curve when it comes to the software because every one of them set up differently. And depending on who you're working with and which software you're going to use, that's going to be the defining factor of how good you're at it. If you're not good with software, I don't care if you write it down on a pen and paper, but you still have to put it in some kind of software because we have to see what's going on. I have to see how much money's on that truck, where that truck's at, all that good stuff. We will provide you with a TMS, that's a transportation management system. You'll have to watch the videos, learn that TMS, and that way you're effectively helping that driver. Because remember, you could be dealing with more than one MC. When you're dealing with more than one MC, that's every MC is a different set of problems. That's like a whole new business inside your TMS. So that information doesn't cross up with another driver's information. You don't want to get them mixed together and you're paying money to some driver that didn't even do that load. It was completed by another owner-operator. Now, availability to work from home. You must be able to work in a quiet environment free from distractions. This includes maintaining an uninterrupted workspace, ensuring professional communications at all times. If we call and we hear a kid, a dog, or anything in the background, it's not that we're going to go, oh my God, we can't work with you no more. But that just ain't acceptable because they need to hear you, okay? We don't need the distractions on our end. When I'm talking to you and I'm hearing that, that's distracting me from paying attention to you. And my undivided attention needs to be directed on you and what you have to tell to me. Okay, we're running a business. Working from home doesn't mean the professionalism goes down. Okay, we expect you to actually be better than you've ever been because you're saying, I am grown up enough and responsible enough, I can take on this task and be effective and be profitable, not just for Truck Driver Nation, but for yourself. Because as you're fixing to see, we're giving you the money that nobody else will give you in order to make sure that this responsibility is accounted for. Okay, required documentation. In addition to the previous documentation requirements, candidates must submit all the following before starting the training program. One, we have to get you to sign a background check. Like I said, we need to know who you are. We're going to even look at everything that you did as a truck driver. We use CDL scan that runs everything, whether it's on a PSP, a CSA, or whatever it is, it shows up. On the background check authorization, you must consent to a background check for verification of work history, criminal record, and other related factors. Now, if you got a criminal history, I personally don't give a shit. Okay, if you're not sitting there pulling some bull crap, or are you still up to crap? And if you are, dude, let me get you out where you don't have to be a criminal. Okay, if you're into that game, I used to do stupid stuff too. So, you don't have to keep going down that road. There is plenty of money in this industry, okay? But anyways, that being said, we need that background check authorization. References. You must provide at least 2 professional references, not friends, not family. We will pull them up, find the history of that company to make sure that they're actually professional references, who we can speak with for your previous work experience and reliability as an employee. They must speak frankly with us. We can tell if it's bullcrap or if it's true. We've been doing this for a lot of years. I recruited for 10 years, so don't try to delay it. I need to know who you are because you need to know who I am, and my whole life is transparent. If you judge me, you suck because I'm not judging you, okay? So I drove for 24 years in addition to the 10 years recruiting, but before that, I was a paramedic and a nurse, and I came out of the United States military. So, and have I screwed up between here and there? Hell yeah, it's life. I fell out of a uterus, right? I didn't come with a manual. I'm do the best I can, just like everybody else. Proof of employment. You must provide documentation showing that you're currently employed or have worked in a relevant field, like driving or logistics. Remember, I require a minimum of 5-year you behind the steering wheel driving, okay? So the reason I need that because I only want logistics professionals on my personal team. And so that being said, let's move along. Availability to work, commitment to full-time availability. Now, you must be able to commit to a full-time schedule, including weekends or overtime, which we don't provide overtime because you're an independent agent, right? And the weekends, you shouldn't have to unless something happened with your truck. But if you got to get somebody a load on Saturday, you need to get it handled, okay? That's your people. The position requires flexibility in working hours, as dispatching can often involve time-sensitive or emergency tasks. So remember that. Yeah, we got our time off. You got a lot more off than you ever had being a truck driver, okay? So if you're going to cry about this and you came out of trucking, you may not have ever been on a truck. Reliable communication. You must be reachable and responsive during working hours. This includes having a reliable phone number and email address and checking messages regularly for critical communications. So make sure, because the email will actually give you a business email. So that business email is going to be where you're going to be receiving your information. Just remember, we see it too because it's our business emails. The phone lines and everything, they're going to be, if we, once we get to that point, we'll give you a phone line. Remember, all phone calls are recorded. So don't talk about crap on them phones that can definitely get you. Because if they ever, whatever reason, something's going on, it doesn't even matter if it's you or me or whoever, and somebody comes in, it's 2024. You can't trust nothing for nothing. You don't want to be hung by a conversation you had, and next thing you've got a big problem for whatever it might be. It ain't got to be criminal. It could be civil. It could be anything. People are out to haters, right? Just remember haters. Take that and run with it, and then you'll understand why I said that. Ability to handle high call volumes. You by yourself as a dispatcher, you're going to have calls, right? And they're going to be there. So you got to be there to take your calls, whether it's coming from another dispatcher that you're working with, because I'll introduce you to lots of people, or a brokerage that you're actually searching out freight for, or one that you're actively doing business with on a weekly basis, or the drivers themselves, things like that. So make sure that you're available to receive them calls. You must be able to manage and prioritize a high volume of calls and dispatch requests during business times without compromising service quality. Remember, we don't make nothing. Our service is what we do. We are service providers, okay? Physical and mental health. You must be in good health and capable of handling the physical and mental demands of the job, including long work hours on focused work. So, if you got mental issues and you got PTSD or whatever, I understand. Even I've got PTSD. But you got to make sure that you can handle this. Your drivers cannot suffer. As soon as we start seeing the freight numbers go down, it's a red flag. Okay, so that's going to definitely put us in a situation where we're going to be worrying about things. Because remember, all the stuff that you're actually acquiring, the book of business, everything, it belongs to Truck Driver Nation. Okay, everything does. So when you leave, there's a no compete, and all these clauses will go through them. But don't put yourself in a red flag position, because I have to protect the drivers. It's nothing against you. I would love to help people out to get through their points. Like I said, I was a paramedic and nurse. But the number one service that we're providing to these people that we're dispatching for is the service that we can keep their trucks loaded and keep the highest amount of revenue on their trucks in a weekly manner, so they got a decent profit. Punctuality. You must adhere to strict schedule and be punctual for all required shifts. Consistent attendance and reliability are critical in dispatching operations. So what we do is, you have to come in. You're going to be on Telegram as well. You're going to have to say, good morning. We need to see what time, because we need to know you're there. And then we do that to everybody. As you get involved, we won't hook you up with the dispatchers inside of the company. Everybody's got their own thing, but because you're building your own network of what's going on, right? But if you need something, you let me know, and then obviously I'll give you the people you need to help you out. I don't leave you hanging. But as far as most of the dispatchers inside the company, everybody does their own little world thing. It makes it easier for me to keep track of the team that I have, because I don't have a big team. This one position, if you end up getting selected, you really lucked up, because, I don't hire a bunch of people. Most of them, we work with them through the school that we have, and then they move on to whatever they're going to do in life. But this is actually working directly with Truck Driver Nation as an independent agent. Now, as far as the legal and ethical standards, ethical conduct, you must agree to abide by all applicable laws and Truck Driver Nation's code of ethics in dealing with clients, carriers, and drivers. Now, this includes from refraining from unethical or dishonest conduct, such as misrepresentation or fraudulent activity. A non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, it must sign a confidential agreement to protect sensitive business information or data, trade secrets, and personal information of drivers and clients. Non-compete and non-solicitation, you must agree to a non-compete and non-solicitation agreement, which will be in effect during employment and for a period of time after the employment contract ends, typically 1 to 5 years, and we go with 5 years. This ensures that employees do not directly compete with Truck Driver Nation or solicit business from clients or carriers after leaving the company. Compliance with company policy, you must agree to adhere to all company policies, including those related to conduct, dress code for video calls. Remember, you're working from home. Technology usage. Remember, you're working from home. And security procedures. Remember, you're working from home. Don't look porn up or questionable sites that get into this database. It's going to be hell to pay. Okay. Doing damage to our company it'll put you in a bad situation. Protect us, we protect you, and that's the whole thing as far as working as a team. Okay, so the training program, what do you need to know? Free training, it is free. As long as you stick to the requirements and the contractual agreements that we're agreeing upon, it's all free. If not, then we've got obviously backup things to protect our interests and reduce that we've got a financial loss because you decided to do it, then you decided to leave, okay? And all of us in contracts. All the contracts have to be signed before we can move forward. Now, we offer free dispatcher training for qualified individuals, but there's an important catch. You must agree to work with us for Truck Driver Nation for a minimum of 2 years after you complete the program. The training itself is self-paced, and you have 8 weeks to complete it. During the program, we expect to see consistent progress and we'll be checking in regularly to ensure you're staying on track. So if we see you're dragging, because we document, even our students, we document where they're at in their overall education with the program. Everything's on there, the videos, you get the whole textbook, you get all the backup support that you need. I mean, we're here to help you. So if you need a meeting with me, you schedule it with Maria. She gets me lined up with you because I have students all day long that I'm having to, straighten out the information that they know how it's applied, whatever documentation or videos and content that they're needing to get them on the straight path. Most of the time I get people working within 2 weeks, but sometimes it takes 6 weeks. Sometimes people get it done in a week, I joke you not. But for people that have no experience, it takes them a good 8 weeks. Normally, with 5 years experience, you should be done in 2 to 3 weeks and you're ready to go. You're not paying a dime for this training. As far as you're actually working with Truck Driver Nation. But once you start, it's understood that you are committing to work with us for the long term. Now, what we provide, this is just a couple of things that we provide. We provide more, but this is the streamlined things that most people have asked about to make sure they have this as a dispatcher, and which is totally understandable because this costs a lot of money and time to build this up. So leads to generate your truck drivers to dispatch for, we absolutely have all the owner-operators, lease purchase, lease rental, and company drivers. That's where you're going to get your dispatchers from. You go in there, we assist you on recruiting them. Any help you need, you talk to Maria. She gives you training on recruiting if you need it, but everything is actually led through there. Even when we get people that are interested in our service and you don't have your drivers, but you can't wait around for us. Because don't ever wait for us. The answers are in everything from our website to the course content to whatever. We have everything in there. But if you just can't get there, then we need to know where you're at. And obviously, if we see a consistent problem that you're not self-motivated, that's the whole thing about this. I'd rather it be upfront now and transparent. You have to be self-motivated. We're not looking for betas. We're looking for alphas that just haven't had the opportunity. We're going to give you everything you need to be a killer in our business. You will make that revenue that you need. You're going to regret that you ever did trucking as far as being on that truck once we get done helping you. Now, mentorship and support throughout your training and after you're on the job, absolutely, 100%. You got us. We're a team, right? We are a team, and we want you to feel like you're part of the team because you are a part of the team. Resources, including connections to shippers, carriers, and brokers to help you succeed. We got an army load of them. And we also, if you want to be a freight agent, after you've already established yourself for a while as being a dispatcher, we can allow you to do that, and or being a driver recruiter on the side. So it's extra streams of income, right? Why leave money on the table? You will have the ability to work remotely, 100%, which means you can dispatch from anywhere as long as you have a quiet professional environment and the necessary tools that you're going to need to actually perform your duties. All right. Now, the equipment and setup, this is what you're going to personally need, okay? To begin the program, you will need, and you've got to have this in your possession or we cannot sign you up to, I mean, you won't be employed by us. If for the program, you can sign up because you're paying for the program. We're providing you a service by giving you a skill and educating you in dispatching. But coming to work for Truck Driver Nation as an independent agent, it is required that you have a computer with high-speed internet access. You cannot Bluetooth. It won't be effective. You're going to run out of data, and that's not acceptable. While you're training, you can, if you're on the road, like we discussed, you have to be off the road by the time you finish that test. Because once you pass that test, I know you know what I know to some degree, you know. So that noise canceling headset is absolutely required. You get what you pay for. If you can't hear your clients in the background and we're hearing everything in your background, then that's not a noise canceling headset. Also, we won't be providing these, so please ensure you have them ready before starting. That's even before you start the program with us, if you're going to be, if we choose you, or if you're selected to actually work with us as an independent agent with Truck Driver Nation. So the training program. So the training requirements, the training program will last about 8 weeks and must be completed within this time frame. If you do not complete it within 8 weeks, that automatically voids our deal, and then we go forward to the next step, which we'll show you what the next step is in a moment. So you're end up paying for the course, and this is non-negotiable. I hate to be a hard ass, but I've already had this problem once, and they didn't want to pay, and I ended up having to, first we did arbitration, and then I had to go to court. All this, and it wasted so much of my time that I could have been working in my own business, and I had no choice. I had to go. They wouldn't let nobody stand in my place or nothing. I had to actually go. You will need to pass the final exam with a minimum of 85% score, no exception. If you fail to complete the course or withdraw from the program, like you said, you don't go to work with us, you will owe us $500 fee for the training costs because you didn't complete it, right? So we charge you just like everybody else. We charge people $500 on the front side. If they don't continue to work with us, because we charge 2% to them as well, then you end up paying another $2,000. But in this instance, we're giving you the benefit because we need you on our team. It's not the money that we're making off of you is what we're looking for. We need a leader that we're trying, because we got more than one leader that we're cultivating to be leaders inside of our company. Okay, that's the reason you're getting so much money. You're like being a lieutenant and you really didn't earn the position yet. So what we're doing is if we see any fluctuation, any flaws or anything in it, then you're not what we need. If you fail to honor the contract, honor these conditions, then this won't work out. So your role after completion, what to expect. Now, once you complete the training program and join Truck Driver Nation, you will officially be a freight dispatcher working under our team. However, even though you'll be working with us, you'll be responsible for generating your own truck drivers to dispatch for. And we give you all the assistance. We got people coming in that need our dispatch services. We send them to you, okay? So you're getting the extra advantage that most people don't get. Here's a breakdown of the key expectations. Dispatching responsibilities. You will be required to maintain at least 5 full-time trucks. That's minimum. You really need to do 7 to 12, but 5 is our actual minimum. Being only 5, we're not saying that's a bad thing, but like I said, we're looking for leaders for a better position inside of our company. So, but the 5, as long as you keep your 5 full-time trucks moving, we'll know based on the revenue, then you don't have to worry about, us having to go a different route as far as you actually losing employment or something like that. These trucks need to stay busy with consistent loads of freight, obviously. We expect you to keep these trucks loaded with quality freight, in other words, the money, because that's what it's all about. ensuring you're helping the drivers, the owner operators, keep moving and generating significant income. Now, for every load you manage, Truck Driver Nation will take 2% from the gross revenue, and the rest will go directly to you. So whatever percentage you agree on, then that money will be yours. Now, for example, if you secure a load that brings $10,000, and this number's wrong, somehow there's an extra zero, then like if you were charging 10%, for example, and I got another example in here, but if you're actually doing $10,000, that's for one truck, right? Then you'll receive 800 trucks. So obviously, if you had 5 trucks, then you're generating, $4,000. So it ain't bad at all, right? I know, but the thing is, it depends on the trailer. It depends on the market. The market and the trailer depends on how well you're going to do on that particular trailer. Remember, there's a big difference between dry van, reefer, flatbed, and step deck. And in this course, if you don't already know, we'll go through that and make sure we highlight all these different factors that you understand what's going to be the overall outcome for you. All right, so compensation. Just excuse me, I'm gonna be coughing a little bit because I've been going at this. When I do these long ones, it messes with my throat. So I got a cough drop. Hopefully this helps. All right, when it comes to compensation, you will receive 8% if you're charging 10% for the example like I just showed you of the gross revenue generated from the trucks you dispatch, which is one of the highest paying compensation models in the industry. There's nobody, if you're coming to work for a company, even as an independent agent, they don't pay you this much. I'm giving you this much because I really don't want you to go nowhere. I'm investing a lot of time into you getting you trained up. Um, so in that aspect, I don't need you to come in or hear you. I'm not going to come in. You don't come in nowhere. But hear you that you're starving because you're not actually making revenue. There's no excuse for it with us, okay? So Truck Driver Nation only takes 2% of the gross revenue, leaving you the majority of the earnings. If you generate 10,000 per truck, like I said, then you get 800. There is no middleman taking a large percentage. You wouldn't believe what dispatchers are paying trucking companies to work for them, and it's stupid. But anyways, I hope that makes sense to you. But remember, it also depends on your positivity. I'm going to let you know this right now. I don't like pessimists. I don't like negative, all that negative stuff or whatever. You are greater than what you think you are. If you've got that type of personality, please, we won't be a right fit for you. I'm putting all this out here right now, even though I'm going over this, because I need you to understand what we're looking for. Okay. And I'm giving you things that normal people won't normally tell you when you're actually looking for a position. But I don't need to waste time interviewing. This is just easier for me to do it through this and knowing that you watched this video in its entirety. Otherwise, I'll know right when we're doing another interview that you didn't watch it. So that's another red flag for me to be like, okay, this still probably ain't the right person. All right, let's move along. Okay, so inside truckdrivernation.com, you want to go to Dispatcher Tools. You will see this here at the very top of the page, and you will click that link. When you click that link, it will take you to a tool so you can see your potential of what you can make as a dispatcher. I don't want to hear, what you're, I mean, you don't want to hear what I'm saying because you don't know me. I don't blame you. I don't trust me because I don't trust you yet neither, right? It takes time to build these friendships and these relationships inside logistics. So I give you these tools and I give it to everybody. But what I want you to do is go in here and play with this so you know your potential. And I want you to look at it, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on the next page. So for this one right here, what I did is I slid the bar up to where I figured, okay, well, I know I'm doing a flatbed. This is what I used it in reference to. So a flatbed, I can get 6,000 per truck. I know this. I can get 6,000 or more per truck. But overall, if I was to average it out per week, I know I can get 6,000 per truck. And I put this down because I do 7 trailers. Even though I do step deck, a lot of people like dry van. That's the reason I use dry van for this example. So this is 7 trailers that I marked it as that I'm loading. Okay, that's how many people, they're totally dependent on me to get the job done, so they're making money. On the commission, because for me, unless it's some particular special instance, if it's just one truck, I charge 10%. If you got more trucks, then I scale it down some on the percentage that I charge for my dispatch services. But for this instant, I marked it as just one truck, right? So I'm charging 10%. So the overall gross revenue that I will be generating per week, this is minimum. These are estimates. It's always higher than this, but because I did the lowest that you can absolutely do. Now I do have bad weeks. Let's not get it confused. Sometimes even I have crappy weeks. But anyways, the total gross revenue for this instance, for this scenario, is $42,000. As a dispatcher, what you're going to make after everything's said and done, you're going to actually make, if you did it like this, we get 2%, right? We get 2% of the 4,200. You will get 8% of the 4,200. But the overall amount that was generated would be $4,200. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take well, I can't because I'm actually in the presentation. I was going to do something, but I can't. But so anyways, if you wanted to know how much that you would actually get of this, you would take 8% of this, and that would go to you. 2% would go to Truck Driver Nation. If you have any questions about this, please get with me. We can go over it again. Now, additional responsibilities. You'll be responsible for keeping the trucks loaded with freight and making sure they're always moving. And there's also the paperwork that comes with it. So let's not confuse it. It's not just getting the load. There's paperwork that comes with this dispatch, and I'll train you on how to do it. You will handle all communications with your shippers, brokers, and carriers, and you'll need to be proactive in resolving any issues that come up. There's always issues that come up. That's the whole reason they're paying you, to solve their problems so they can drive their freight and not be all over the road trying to handle issues. Your hours of operation will generally be, which they will be, 7:30 Eastern Time, a.m., right, to 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Some weekend work may be necessary if the drivers need assistance. That means if they need a load, maybe you still get something on Saturday, highly unlikely. But if they have problems with their loads, if they got a breakdown or whatever it is, remember, if they're owner operators, it's their responsibility to handle their issues. But they might reach out to you for further assistance. That's your choice. It's your people, right? I wouldn't throw my owner operators away for having to spend maybe an hour or two for having to help them out. Like I say, if they needed to find a tire or they missed a turbo or whatever it is, to help them get whatever their needs to get that truck back up and running so they can get to the receiver or get to the shipper, whatever the scenario may be, to make sure you're protecting the integrity of what you're doing with those people that you've been building a relationship with, that overall in the final end game provides you with that good income of making the the percentage of that whatever percentage you're charging minus the 2% that you're going to be making. So the commitment, what are you agreeing to? Okay, now this is a long-term commitment, and we are looking for associates who are dedicated, as we are, to provide excellent service and building a strong, sustainable business. You got a 2-year employment contract. By agreeing to work with Truck Driver Nation, you are committing to a 2-year contract. Cancellation terms. If you choose to leave before completing the 2 years, or you can keep staying with us, we'd love to have you to stay with us. You'll owe $2,500 for the cost of the training program, plus 15% of the gross revenue you generated during your time here. We're not talking about 15% of the overall gross revenue that you actually made in the whole time. We're only talking about 15%. Like when you average it out, we'll know how much you made overall, and it's 15% of that. So if you had 50 loads, we take whatever amount of money you made divided by 50 loads, and it's 15% of that number. Notice of termination. You must provide 30 days written notice, has been written, if you wish to terminate the contract early, because we want to see what we can do to change the situation. We will not bend over backwards. We will bend over reasonably to help you with this, because we want to make sure everything is legitimate on both sides, that it benefits us and it benefits you. We're not looking to dominate nobody. We're not slumlords. We are literally logistic professionals that came out of trucks that ended up doing other things in logistics, and we're offering this opportunity to you, just like somebody offered the opportunity to me to teach me so I could progress as well. For the non-compete and non-solicitation, you will be bound by a 5-year non-compete and non-solicitation agreement, which means you cannot start your own dispatching service business You can, I mean, you can start your own dispatching business, but you can't recruit Truck Driver Nation's drivers during your, you can, anything you did with us, let me just read it, I'm sorry. Which means you cannot start your own dispatching business or recruit Truck Driver Nation's drivers during your employment or for 5 years after you leave. You can absolutely start your own business because you're not working in the office. The world's the limit, right? You're working from home. That ain't the situation. Only if you work for us in the office, then it takes 5 years because you're right next to us. You're living in the same neighborhood. And we've seen that cause us a problem in the past. So the whole thing behind it is, if you're working from home wherever you're at, you can do whatever you want when it comes to doing your own business. You just can't touch none of our assets. Everybody that was with you, whatever you built a book of business with, everything belongs to Truck Driver Nation. And we're trying to be mean, but for us to build you a whole business when you're at Truck Driver Nation, and then we say, hey, here, take everything that we gave you and screw us over, you would feel the same way. Okay, so we're trying to keep overall ethical and moral, morality as far as what's right, what's wrong, what's fair. And if that's an issue for you, we can discuss it, and you can go in detail. You can present your defense or whatever when it comes to this topic. But that's what we stand by. Now, all of the business you generate while working with Truck Driver Nation will belong to us because we helped you build your business book of business. And it's just not fair that you steal from. I mean, basically, you're stealing from us, and we know that. And this is the only way that we actually have found that we can counter that problem to make it where it's not so tempting to screw us over after we put our hand out and you bit the hand that fed you. I hope that don't sound too brash, and if you take it the wrong way, well, welcome to logistics. This is a hardcore business, but we want to see it succeed, and I hope you take it in the right light, which it was meant by. Okay, the protection. Now, how do we keep Truck Driver Nation safe? At Truck Driver Nation, we take our businesses seriously. We have safeguards in place to protect the company and our clients, including confidentiality agreement. You will be required to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, to ensure that all business-related information, including clients list, rates, contracts, and driver information, remains with Truck Driver Nation and confidential. Full transparency. We need full transparency from you. This includes providing a complete employment history, a copy of your driver's license, social security number, or your LLC documents, if applicable. Confirmation that you're a U.S. citizen and fluent in English. Legal compliance. We take legal compliance seriously as well, and we expect the same from you. If at any time we discover that you're trying to engage in any deceptive practices or activities that threaten our business, we will take legal action to the fullest extent of the law under the state of Illinois, because you can double broker, you can do all kinds of crap that is totally 100% illegal under FMCSA, and actually some under DOT, but it's FMCSA that has put up all these new laws and they change all the time. So what we know, you got 5 years in the business, so and that's the reason we have to actually take that stance. Okay, for the checklist for being an employee with us, please confirm that you have completed the following steps before commencing the training program, that we can prove you have 5 years of over-the-road truck driving experience. We have a copy of your driver's license, your social security number or your LLC, your full employment history, including resume, U.S. citizenship, making sure that you're a citizen of my country, fluent in English, access to computer, internet, noise canceling headset. You've signed your confidentiality agreement, non-solicitation agreement, and your non-compete agreement. And obviously, there's some other paperwork we get you to fill out as a independent agent. This is mainly what we do to protect our company. The other paperwork is because you're actually an independent agent. So there's some other contracts that you have to sign, but those are, if you've ever been an independent agent for anybody, it ain't nothing outside the norm. It's standard business practices and logistics. Now, by choosing to work with us at Truck Driver Nation, you are stepping into a highly supportive, high reward role with lots of room for personal and professional growth. We offer the best structure in the market. We're committed to helping you succeed in building a long-term career with us. We are looking for dedicated and driven individuals who are ready to take charge of their future and grow with a company that is changing the way dispatching works. In other words, we're not raping you for the money, which is actually yours. If you're ready to make that commitment, we're excited to work with you. Let me know if you have any questions or if you're ready to get started. I look forward to hearing back from you. So definitely get back with us. Have questions, concerns, please let us know. Maria can answer questions, concerns as well. But yeah, I mean, if this is an approach you want to do and come on board directly with us, we're here to be the backbone of what you need to get you set up in the industry. Just make sure that all your documentation looks clean and tight, because we tear it apart just like we do with recruiting. We tear those applications apart and we find the flaws. We know how to look for them. It's just the nature of the beast when it comes to logistics. So, but please get your information into us so we can start processing and look to see if you might be the right candidate that we're looking to bring on. But remember, we want to be the right fit for you. So ask those questions. Open, transparency. You know, we're not looking for somebody that's complacent. We're looking for a thinker, a mover, somebody that is self motivated type of deal. Okay. All right. So that's the presentation. I hope I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I help you think about being in logistics a different way when it comes to being a freight dispatcher. Probably also extended to being a freight agent and or recruiter. But anyways, sign up. Let's get your journey moving, and get you aboard with us and make you a part of the family. And when we're like this, we back our family members. So whatever happens, if you have any issues, we're there to support you. Okay. Even though we do the same principle with our students that are actually open freight dispatching services, but being with us, since we have a school, you get to network with all those other agencies that are those individuals that are coming in to build their own freight dispatching service. So we do share this. We have a lot of social media and all that good stuff. So you're not cornered up in the wall with just leads and databases that we provide you, but there's people out here working with us even now, even this very hour, that are in logistics just like you, and they would love to work with you, whether it's brokers, the truck drivers that became dispatchers, carriers, direct shippers type of deal, or even truck driver recruiters. So you have a lot on your plate when it comes to what we have to offer you if you decide to join with us. But anyways, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to hear from you soon.